Yo, hey, what up, family? This is Doug Reed with the Let's Go Show. Got my man George Morse is actually on here. George is going to tell you a little bit about what you're doing, but first, George, got to ask, man, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother Reed. Thanks for getting you on the show. Finally, man, I've been following your podcast journey for a while, and you've been letting me know you was going to get me on the show, and I'm happy to be here. Let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, and that just goes, man, because of course, I appreciate the work you're doing. I mean, I work in law
Appreciate you.
enforcement. 25 years of working in the federal prison, actually, in another 2 years working in the county. But, you know,
Mhm.
tell me what you're doing right now, George.
Yeah, I actually got a background in law enforcement. Currently active deputy sheriff sergeant with the Philadelphia County Sheriff's Office. Been 12 years in that position now. Actually started off my law enforcement career working in the Philadelphia prisons back in 2006, and that was the milestone, well, the stepping stone to get me into law enforcement. It wasn't a choice for me, and I believe it was a calling because I didn't see myself in the future working in law enforcement. Growing up in the Philadelphia neighborhoods, we wanted to be athletes, entertainers, musicians and things of that nature. I had a lot of different gifts, but some reason I ended up here, serving my community in this fashioning form.
All right, let's go back a little bit, maybe. Let's touch on those gifts, though. Whatever.
Yes.
Well, what were you doing? Whatever gifts did you have now?
Oh yeah. So yeah, growing up, man, I used to dibble and dabble in music, entertainment. Everybody was, when we grew up, you had to have a few bars when you was in the schoolyard growing up, or you played some football, played basketball. But me, I was a high school athlete, played football at John Bartram. I was a running back and a D black on the defensive end. But yeah, I was pretty good. I suffered a MCL sprain in my senior year of high school, right after I had one of my biggest rushing games of 119 yards and a 26-yard touchdown
Oh,
against Southern. Yeah, back at John Bartram. So those was some of the best years of my life right there.
yeah,
So
yeah. And
mhm.
even for me, man, my high school years were actually very impactful. Even we just celebrated like 41. Well, we actually did the 41 reunion because of COVID, but
Okay,
all of us were real tight. And same thing, athlete. When I was
okay,
younger, never thought about being working in the prison though.
okay.
That wasn't in the game plan.
Yes.
Then here you share the same story. So how did you
Mhm.
get in law enforcement? I mean, what was that
So
that journey?
yeah, so at the time, I remember I was pretty young at the time, about 19, 20, trying to figure out what direction I was going to go with my life. And I had a cousin that was working in the sheriff's department and a cousin that was at the time working in the prisons. He's now a Philadelphia firefighter. And
Mm.
those were two examples I had outside of the neighborhood direction that I could go. And I remember at my 12th grade graduation, that my grandmother through me, those two showed up, came out to support. I guess it was just like a light showing me like this is a direction that you could go. And I chose that, to take a civil service position with the city of Philadelphia. And, I just kept on taking tests, got my experience and, started in the prisons. Then one day got an opportunity, heard that the sheriff's office was accepting applications and I put in and I made it through that process and got sent up for basic training and I made it through the 19 weeks of basic training up in the state college. And here I am today, two promotions later as a sergeant.
Wow, man, just so proud of you. But I mean,
Thank you.
let me ask you, did that did that uniform have anything to do with it? I mean,
Yeah,
especially
uniform.
even as a firefighter and a policeman, like the uniforms,
Yeah.
uniforms are tight.
Yeah. Uniforms is tight. Yeah. So I remember seeing my uncle, who's the father of my cousin that's a firefighter now, seeing him in a uniform at the family cookouts and things like that. And seeing my cousin that was in law enforcement, my father's side, a lot of law enforcement, man. So and he was military as well. So I remember seeing my pop come home early in my childhood, with the uniform on from the service and things like that. So it definitely probably was instilled in me and probably had something to do with my wiring, the way I was, me being, I was actually a team captain on the high school football team. So all that, I guess, helped align me with where my purpose and passion was leading me to this day.
Yeah, definitely those characteristics, and you exemplify that as far as your role within the police department. And give you a backdrop. Like I used to work with a young lady. Even after I retired, I worked for the VA, and I
Okay.
worked with a young lady that was the first Black firefighter, I think, that was hired, and they
Wow.
they put her pictures on a mural down at Second and uh
Hollow Hill,
Second and Market, I think.
Second and
No,
Market.
is it Second and Market? No, it's not Market. What's the next street over?
Is
Um,
it Chestnut or is
I
it
tell you,
further back? Arch,
Arch, Second and
Arch
Arch.
Street.
It's a
Okay.
firehouse right there, and I
Okay.
remember actually going to the service because we worked
Okay.
together. We were at Sixth and Market, and we just
Okay.
walked down, and I was like, "Yo," she's like, "Well, it ain't no big." I'm like, "Yo, your face is
Wow.
on the mural." Like,
Yes.
and
That
that's
she didn't even know she was breaking barriers.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that was amazing, man, to actually be a part of that, and just
Wow.
as we talk about, especially in law enforcement, especially even as firefighters, like
Hmm.
it took a while for us to really crack this line. I'll say,
Yes.
we talked about it, the blue line, but our line
Hmm.
is a little different because ours is
Yes.
navy blue, because
Yes.
there's a lot of things that we go through, uh,
Hmm.
breaking those barriers, being African Americans in that
Yes.
in that type of system that's
Hmm.
actually predominantly white and even in leadership, so
Yes.
for you to actually come through, set those milestones and achieve those goals speaks volumes. How was your time, even you said 19 weeks, how was
Yes.
those 19 weeks uh in the academy?
Wow, that was the experience in itself. Coming from the inner city, going up. So the deputy sheriffs in Pennsylvania, we got to go up to Penn State and train. That's where our basic training is. So that 19-week experience was different because coming from Philadelphia, we trained with all 67 counties in PA, and I've been in the classroom with with men and women who never been in the classroom with a Black man before because their counties are so small that you got counties in PA where they have one sheriff and he probably got two deputies. But we come from a first class city where it's, everything is moving, fast and high pace. So them getting experience to being around me and me getting experience to being around them, people can learn to shoot at about 8 years old, 7 years old.
Hmm.
Us, we start shooting once we get out of high school and apply for a job or something where it comes with, carrying a service weapon or going into the military. So it was an experience. I learned from them and they learned from me. I showed them how, it goes in Philadelphia when you come to visit and you're a tourist, just be careful when you're moving through the city. And they showed me a little, they're savvy with the firearms tricks, but we learn from each other. It was a very different experience. Another thing that was going on at the time when I was up there was the very controversial Sandusky trial and Joe Paterno trial that was going on up there. They had a lot of unrest and riots going on up there, and I remember the law enforcement up in that area, they had to call on the state police to help because the state college police couldn't handle that type of tension going on up there. So at the time I was becoming a deputy sheriff, I was seeing riots and uprisings up at the college because of what happened up in Penn State in 2011. And I was up there at that time. So it was like experience that I will never forget.
Yeah, you know what, and I say, I got a phrase that says adjust, adapt, and overcome. Because what
Yes.
happens is when we're able to do that, because
Mhm.
you realize that you're in an environment, like you said, where
Mhm.
it's diversity. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And you're dealing with people that, let's say even not, black and white, but just being from the
Mhm.
city and they
Exactly.
being from them suburban areas. And then
Yes.
you have to adjust to them, like they have to adjust to
Mhm.
you. You both
Exactly.
overcome your barriers and say, okay,
Mhm.
now, especially in law
Mhm.
enforcement, like we in this
Mhm.
thing together. Like
Yes.
I got your back, just like you
Mhm.
got my back.
Exactly.
And let's put the personal, like if we go into a situation, I don't have time for things to be personal. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And able to actually get through that. You said 19 weeks and able to
Yes.
get together, bond, and then it's
Mhm.
okay. But how was that graduation day? Like how many were in your
Yeah.
class?
Wait, what we had about? We had about 26. no more than 30 of us. We were often spread out off in different parts of PA. The graduation day was great. I remember my wife being up there and making so much noise when I crossed that stage that she actually startled me. Because I was wondering, like, I know who I sent the invites out to. Who was that making all that noise? And she remember, looking back, like yeah, I started you up there. I was like, wow, she made a lot. She was proud, that I made it through everything. And just the challenges of going through that, cars going down, trying to travel up into the mountains every weekend. You get to come home on the weekend, but it's still a lot of traveling, going from a state college back to Philadelphia, traveling through Harrisburg and things like that. Pennsylvania is a very rural state and commonwealth outside of Philadelphia and Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. So,
Yeah.
And I remember on graduation day when I was packing up, leaving the dorms, and one of the deputies from a smaller county in Pennsylvania, probably was in like central PA. And he stopped our car when we was leaving, and he wanted to make sure he shook my hand and looked me in the eyes and said, George, man, you was a great classmate. It was great meeting you, and I wish you the best. I never been around a Black man from Philadelphia. He was the first one, and I respect you. And I let him know I respect him too. So it was like that right there, that exposure, him being from the woods and me being from, the city, that right there after 19 weeks of learning each other, seeing how we carry each other, the respect was earned.
And see, and this is what I want our listeners to really get this, right? Because you said how many were in your class?
About 26, 30 of us.
26 to 30 in the class.
And probably, let me see, black men and women. It was about 1, 2, 3. 3 Black men and 1 Hispanic brother in the class. And the rest of the class was predominantly Caucasian. So,
and once again, those small numbers. And then you said, what year was this?
This was 2011, from August 2011 to December 2011.
2011.
Yes.
You meet a guy that says, look, I never met a Black man from the city before. Thank you. Now this is 2011. We're not talking 2011. About we're not talking about 1960 or 1898. We're talking about 2011.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, and this is why I'm so excited that you came on this podcast, especially being in law enforcement, because a lot of people don't get it. This of course, we deal with you deal with the public, and the way that you show up.
People we still learning from each other. He got to hear the way I talk. He got to hear my lingo. He got to see my posture, how I carry myself. This brother's a man. I might have grew up here eating deer meat and shooting guns at a young age, but he's quick on his feet. He got it. He's just growing up in a different, and he's been exposed to a different, area and things like that. But now he's here with us, and we're all in the same place, and we're going into the same profession. Let's learn from each other. He got a background from the prisons. I'm teaching him. He's teaching me. We learning from each other. So it's all about having an open mind and just, removing the reservations that we have by default, because we all have reservations because, just the way the environment that we were brought up in.
I say, and another thing that's real big, and you as we discussed earlier, you're talking about working inside the county jail. One thing that we learn, especially as men, is respect.
Exactly.
And respect is a two-way street. Even today, I'm pretty sure your work today is always about the respect. It's always a level of respect, because then all the eyes are on you. I know you carry yourself well when you're out there, or I can't say out there. I know you carry yourself well 24/7, but all eyes are on you as a Black sheriff's officer and being in leadership.
Yes.
How do you feel now, seeing younger kids and seeing how they look at you? How does that make you feel inside?
It makes me feel good because, when they get to see me, and I remember growing up in Philadelphia and we watching Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was like a game changer, like for the culture, seeing a Black man from Virginia, with cornrows and tattoos and just be himself. The same young man that came in his rookie year and crossed over the legend, the GOAT, Michael Jordan, So, and all the controversy that Allen Iverson went through while he was here in Philadelphia with the Sixers, I just feel like from a law enforcement perspective, letting them see a black man from the city that defied the odds and the stereotypes and still rose above it all and still chose to move forward with his life and not choose the easy way out, and let them see they self in me. This is an option. This is another road that you can take, if you decide to. And, the peer pressure that we have growing up in the inner city, because we grow up amongst each other and we see our friends do this and do this, and sometimes we might do something and it's like, this is not all that you can be. There's more options and there's other people that's likes around you. Like I spoke on in the beginning of the show, I had 2 cousins that did some great things and took steps forward. So that was another light and a beacon for me to look that way. Like I can go that route instead of taking this route, standing in the neighborhood, standing on the corner, and just becoming a product of my environment. So just being out here and seeing, the spark in their eyes when they see someone like them from the community that they come from, doing what I'm doing. So if I can keep on showing them that there's another route for them and another outlet and more options, I'll keep showing up every day just to inspire one child, one youth in the community.
Yeah, I mean, wise words, gems, man. But
Yes.
and let me, because now one of my favorite athletes is Allen Iverson.
Yes.
As a talent, for none. Actually, I have a picture of him, him and John Thompson. Because
Wow.
I got a T-shirt signed by John Thompson.
Okay.
I used to work their basketball camps like
Okay.
moons ago down in Georgetown.
Okay.
But the thing about it, and you said it, because he broke all the barriers, the odds.
Yes. Yes, he
That
did.
the NBA was like,
It
first
was
of all,
different.
the cornrows, and then you ain't gonna wear a suit like we all wear suits.
Yes. Iverson took it off.
He took all that, and let me ask you, because now I'm looking at your hair now.
Yes.
And let's go back to 2011. Could you even wear that?
I don't think it was even in policy for you to even wear locks at the time. So when things got more how would you say, more diverse as far as like policy and being more open to cultural differences and cultural norms, and seeing that, this is natural for Black men and women to wear their hair in a natural way. And once I seen that, I was excited. And, I was like, I might can start the journey. First started out just getting a fade, with the little blowout, and it kept going and kept going. And I was like, hey, got some cornrows. And I was like, hey, all right, man. I remember watching AI. I wanted some cornrows. I finally got some. So, just hair and just, and this is how the young men wearing their hair now, growing up. So, it keeps me looking young. It keeps me relevant and relatable to them, as far as like having a conversation and just going out to the community rec centers, spending some time with them, letting them know what we do as far as being more in the communities, things like that. So, and it makes you feel better too, to actually be free and to be able to be yourself, to show up as your, as your true self. So thank you.
I mean, we're well, I'm gonna say we're fighting in some, federal, as far as the Crown Act. I mean, that's a big thing now. Then of course, different states, got to abide by, or if they choose to, as far as the Crown Act. But come a long way, because I talked about my military experience. Like when I came in, my military experience, as far as it definitely wasn't no dreads, wasn't no braids. And even a lot of even a lot of the women kept their hair short because of it being, I'll never forget it, AR 670-1 Army regulation, because there was standards that it had to actually adhere to. Hair had to be a certain length. And all those things, and we come a long way since then.
Exactly. And I see you now, you rocking a full beard. I don't even think you probably could have wore your beard.
It was, matter of fact, I had a shaving profile, but even going back with that, so I have a shaving profile. It could only be so long, but then even I'll say the repercussions of that. You know what I mean? Because now you're showing up, formations or something. Now you got hair on your face, and nobody had
Mhm.
hair on their face back then.
No,
You know,
no.
so it was looked upon in a very
It was
demeaning
frowned
way.
upon, yes.
Yeah, every
I remember being in the academy and somebody showed that we didn't have beards. I was always clean cut from high
Mhm.
school up. So somebody came and I think they forgot to shave. They had like little spikes on their face, and the jokes was coming all day. Ah, he has a beard, he has a beard. So you know how it is. Ah, he needs to shave, such and such, you know.
But then we talk about it, and you said it.
Mhm.
It means so much that we can just show up and be our own authentic self.
Exactly.
Like the job that I do,
Mhm.
it doesn't affect the job that I do.
It
You know what
doesn't.
I mean? Because I honor the position, I honor the title, and I honor uh, the public service that I do for the community. And well,
Yes.
for you, especially for
Yes.
the city of Philadelphia.
Exactly.
So that you mentioned AI, and I thought about that. Like, yo,
Hmm.
AI broke those barriers. And here you saying, yo, I
Yes.
looked at AI when he broke the barrier, and I'm doing the
Yes.
same thing. So when these young kids
Yes.
see you, they're looking at it like, oh, he looks like me. Because a lot of young
We could
cats now,
identify.
they
We could
can
identify
identify.
with Iverson, and he was the one that we all stood up and looked at the screen. He did all that with the Sixers, and while on the West Coast, Kobe and Shaq was, he went up against a tough team, and we was just happy he took us to the chip.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
all we remember in Philly is him stepping over Tyronn Lue. Shout out to Tyronn Lue, he's a head coach now, but we remember that.
Yeah,
But
everybody remembers that,
yeah,
man. Uh,
yeah.
but yep, and then there's some other things as far as I know that you're doing. Not only in the community, but I know there's an organization that you're affiliated with. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, proud member of the Philadelphia chapter of Black Men Run. Been a member with Black Men Run since the spring of 2015. This is an organization that's helped me transform my life mentally and physically, and also socially. Meeting other Black men, taking control of their health. Also, Black men who do all different professional things, from serving in the military, working in IT, law enforcement, educators, mental health professionals, healthcare professionals. We all learning from each other, man. And this is great because I remember growing up, this wasn't something that you saw, uh, other than like someone, this is basically like the fraternity for me, since I didn't join a fraternity going to college and things like that, but this is a health and wellness fraternity, I would say. Um, Basically, we come together. We run 2 weekly group runs throughout the week in Philadelphia. We have a Wednesday night group run. We have a Saturday morning group run. All paces and faces are welcome, but it's really a safe space for Black men to come together and be authentically ourselves, to share and whatever issues that we may be dealing with, and just network with one another. We're a social network of impact and influence. The organization Black Men Run started in 2013 in Atlanta, Georgia, founded by Edward Walton and Jason Russell. This year, we're coming up on our 10th year anniversary. We'll be celebrating that in Atlanta, Georgia, where it was founded. We'll be doing great things throughout that weekend. We'll be running the PNC Atlanta 10 miler that weekend. And we also have a big banquet dinner at Georgia Tech that weekend in October. So looking forward to that and meeting all my brothers. So we got chapters in
Mhm.
most of the major metropolitan cities throughout the United States. And we also have some chapters in other countries internationally. I know a few is I think UK, and I think we have a chapter in Paris, and they're working on establishing a chapter in Kenya, last I heard. So doing great things, doing big things. And our focus areas are mental health and what else? Health and wellness for sure.
Mhm.
And they also sponsored me to go through the mental health first aid training. So I am
Yeah.
certified in mental health first aid, and I'm thankful for that. Just to make sure that me being a vice captain, I've been a vice captain in Black Men Run Philadelphia since the summer of 2020. Just being there for my brothers and making sure that if I hear anything that anyone may be going through anything, or their parents is changing, or just watching basically the activities of my brothers change, just making sure I can check up on them and see if anything unusual has been going on in their life, just being there, and I can direct them to the proper services and care that they need.
Well, definitely sounds like I know it's a great organization. One thing that I actually do is I speak in different places about the 8 dimensions of wellness.
Mm,
8 dimensions of wellness involves your finance, your occupation, physically,
mm,
socially,
mhm,
spiritually, environmentally, emotionally, uh,
mhm.
and that this organization covers a lot of that.
Yes,
And then of course you said black man. Like
yes,
our biggest things now, and I know you feel the same way. I am
yes,
proud to be a black man.
yes.
You know what I mean? I think even if I can think about my early years, it was like I felt, as they say, marginalized.
Okay.
I felt that my voice wasn't out there like it should have been, or I didn't exert myself because of being marginalized. But now
Mhm.
unapologetic for how I feel. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Uh,
yes,
but let me ask you this: that
yes.
I'm a military guy. I used to,
Mhm.
oh man, I used to run. Our physical training was 2 miles, right? Uh,
Yes,
and we got timed in it.
yes.
I can tell you my best time, and I can tell you the time that I left. And let me see where you do.
Mhm.
You run the 2 miles? I'm pretty sure you're doing
Yeah, yeah,
5, 10.
we doing like 5Ks, 5 miles. My base is like 5 miles. I ran 5 miles yesterday evening,
See,
but you
that's
can
what I'm
go.
saying. Like,
Yeah,
you run a mile in what?
a
Average.
mile. My best mile probably about 6 minutes and 30 something seconds,
Yeah.
and that's pushing it. But
Yeah.
introduction to distance running probably was going into law enforcement. When we had to run a mile and a half to get qualified for
Yeah.
physical
Yeah.
training.
Okay. Okay.
So back then it was all natural. I wasn't BMR then. This was about 4 years before I joined BMR. So at that time I didn't even see. I stayed active, but when I saw that group of black men running in Philadelphia, and I knew a face in that group, and I saw the fellowship that they had in camaraderie, I said, "Oh
Yo.
no, I gotta get with them brothers, man." I said, "I ain't see no brothers moving like that and going back and getting their brothers who falling behind." And that's what sparked me to come out. And the way I got accepted and the fellowship and, like I said, the camaraderie and the black men just being together and supporting one another and pushing each other and talking about sports and talking about things, it just was like, this is love, man. I
Yeah.
said, this energy is electric and magnetic. And I had to stay. I was one of the younger brothers at the time,
Right.
so I was like, I'm staying with these brothers, man. I'm gonna learn from these guys and we're gonna keep this thing going.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
and once again, I mean, because running actually frees your mind. Because
exactly.
once you get into that zone, actually, especially, I remember, like, in the early years, all the pain that came with, like, oh man, am I
Yeah,
going to
I
make it?
hate this.
But
Yeah.
but once you get into your groove, you're breathing, you got
Mhm.
your breathing down. Like,
Yes.
I think my best time in a mile was probably like, and this was my early days, like six
Yeah.
thirty. But
That's
then
good.
but then when I got older, it was like 9 minutes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
matter of fact, and let me tell you this story real quick. I just celebrated my 60th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah,
That's a milestone. And you
yeah.
still in good shape too, brother
Well,
Reed.
and this is the funny part, because me and my wife, we did a dinner cruise in New York City. Oh,
Okay.
had a great time.
You a Virgo too.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
celebrated too.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
happy birthday too.
Yeah. What's
So,
your birthday?
mine was the 5th. What was yours?
Okay, good. August 29th.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what happened was, being in New York, uh,
Mhm.
but there was no parking where the boat docked at. Something, they was doing some work, so there was no parking. So I'm driving all around this area trying to find parking at the Pier
Yes.
36. Can't find no
Okay.
parking. So then
Yeah.
when I finally found a lot parking, so my wife called me. She's like, "Yo, hurry up, run!"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yo." So I walked, and I remember I got far enough. It had to be probably, I don't know, maybe I'd say a quarter mile.
Okay. So you got
That,
that.
yeah.
But you ain't doing it in a while.
But and then this is what I said. I say, all right, so I'm at the point, let's say the quarter-mile
Mhm.
mark, and the
Mhm.
boat is in the distance. I said,
Yeah.
all right, well, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna run to I'm gonna run to the boat.
Yeah.
And I ain't got the best shoes on. I got on sneakers. I got on what they call the dress sneakers. I ain't got no
Okay, like tennis
Nike.
shoes or
Yeah,
something.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm running, man. I'm like, yo, it's been a
Mhm.
while.
Yeah,
But the thing about it, from that point, I made it all the way to the boat. And I was like, yo,
yeah,
that felt good just to accomplish that. Because,
yes,
you know, well, you already know when you run,
mhm.
it's mind over matter.
Exactly. It's mental.
Especially when
Mhm.
everything's working properly, your limbs, your ankles, your muscles, you're
Yeah.
stretching, but then it's
Yes.
it's it's all in the mind, you're breathing, then you
Yes.
develop that peace, you got your stride,
Yes.
you got your pace.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, those were good
Yeah.
days. And for you guys to actually get together
Mm-hmm.
now as an organization, and like you
Yes.
said, you don't go places, and I think about places even around the city of Philly. I'm from
Yes.
Cincinnati. Even places I go, I
Okay.
see people running. You
Hmm.
never see a group of black men just running,
Yes.
and that's
It
got it.
would be on a negative side if you would see that. But seeing that
Mm,
on a positive outside of a
I
football
like that.
uniform and you see them laughing, being free, enjoying themselves, you know, come on, brothers, be over here, make space for the bikers. Watch out, come on over here, and just camaraderie, fellowship, looking after one another and doing it through our community, letting our people see it. They get up on the porch, clap, everything. They stop,
Wow.
honk the horns, everything. Even when we go through Center City, you got to let other communities see it as well.
Yeah.
So it's great being a part of it, and the feeling that you get mentally. It's just basically like you get those. You're releasing those. What are they called? When you're working out and they're releasing. I forgot the name. I'm gonna get it before we stop
Okay.
this episode,
Okay.
but it's something that makes you feel very good after working out. But
Yeah.
it's definitely improves your mental sharpness as well, man. It makes you feel very positive and optimistic, and your vision is very clear after working out. And we don't do it as far as like we got brothers that are fast that can burn, but when
Mhm.
we come together as a group, we're doing it for conditioning,
Yeah.
and just keeping ourselves in shape. And it's one of the best things that you can do as a getaway, for you to get out there and just free your mind. Because there's a lot that we got to get off these phones. We're all out here scrolling, our
Yeah.
heads is down, we looking, and we just losing a lot of our natural human interaction that we used to have,
Mm.
growing up. So just getting out around other people, socially talking. How's this going on? What you got going on? What you planning for your birthday? We all going for your anniversary. How's the
Wow.
kids? The kids start school. How was the trunk party for your son? How was it when you got up to the school? All
Yeah.
those conversations you get to have with your brothers.
Oh, that's
Um,
definitely enlightening, man. So,
mhm.
and make sure let's say the organization again.
Black Men Run.
Black
Black
Men
Men
Run.
Run. Yes, look us up. They got a website. We have a Instagram, Black Men Run, Philadelphia. Our Instagram handle, BMR_PHL. Look us up. You can support. You can go buy some merch. Check it out. We got campaigns that come out quarterly throughout the year. And you'll see us, if you're a runner, you'll see us at the distance runs in the major cities. Walk
I
up to the
love it.
brothers, talk to them, man, connect.
I love it. Now, and I know even, there was a incident in Philadelphia involved, one of the guys that participated within
Yes.
can you tell us more about that?
Yes, we lost one of our fellow runners. He was affiliated with Black Men Run Philadelphia. He was a member of the Swagger House Run Club. Our brother Sergeant Christopher Fitzgerald, he ran with us. He also was like very active in the community outside of law enforcement. Um, I briefly had a chance to work with him at the sheriff's office before he went over to Temple to become a police officer. He was a great individual as far as community member, dedicated to his community, family man, father of a few children, great husband to his wife, great son to his parents, great sibling to his brothers and sisters. I was just great to know him. I had a really great, genuine connection with him, and I remember texting him happy birthday on his last birthday earlier this year. He used to always run with our team on Market Street Run for Blue Run. That's actually coming up next month in Philadelphia, and we are dedicated our team to him. It's called Live Like Chris,
Wow.
Swag House Run Club, his run group, and Black Men Run Philly, who he always ran with us as well. We're going to run together and honor his name. They also have a run coming up September 23rd. They had a street dedication that they honored Chris. It's called Christopher Fitzgerald Way. It's actually at 18th and Montgomery, where actually the situation happened where he lost his life earlier this year. And we're going to run a 5K through that area. We will be out there supporting that 5K, supporting him and his family and his run club. Just a great individual to know, you know, and he lived his life doing what he loved. And that's why we got the hashtag Live Like Chris, and the last four numbers 2362 is his badge number. So we're going to just try to do our best to keep his legacy alive, you know, just sending support and love out to his family, you know, because I know it's still, you know, still hard, you know, going by day to day, and, you know, just missing Chris, man, because we miss him out there with his one running our miles. He was very dedicated to serving the community in Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know, definitely here. My heart and condolences goes out to his family. But you know, as they say, and you know, not trying to be funny, like the marathon continues.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it actually
Mhm.
continues. And you know, as you spoke of him, you know, they talked about the great things that he had done and was doing, and even in the community to live like Chris. You know,
Yes.
and I think we all have that desire. You know, that's part of the Let's Go show. That's even how
Yes.
we made the connection, because
Mhm.
we're trying to live life as examples, as Black men, as
Yes.
positive influencers. I call myself a positive disruptor, because you
Ooh.
know there's so much negativity out there, and we just
Mhm.
want to, you know, not only to impact our communities, but we want to impact all people. So you
Mhm.
know, I want to get some last words for you before you know, I know you got some gems, like, and I
Yes.
always go back to our youth or our
Yes.
community, however you feel. Like,
Yes.
you know, tell me something that you would want to express to whether our youth or to our community.
For our youth today and today's society, what I see and what I know is that a lot of our youth are dealing with a lot of peer pressure in our communities today. You know, growing up, you want to be cool, you want to be in the in crowd, you know, you want to be fly, you want to make sure that you have everything that you know that the cool kids have, but and you want to be respected. You don't have to do everything that your friends and that your peers do. So sometimes we have to do what? We have to change our environment. We have to remove ourselves from our environment, you know, take a step back, um, refocus, um, reflect and see, you know, what we've done, how far we've come, and where we're trying to go. And you can't do that sometimes just being up under a lot of people, you know, in a community in your neighborhood who may not be doing the things that they need to be doing or doing the right thing, you know. So sometimes you get an opportunity to get away from the community and go do a program or go do a camp or just go to a mentorship program. Take that opportunity or go do that educational program or whatever it is that somebody's offering you these options. Just don't succumb to the peer pressure. I want to see y'all rise above it, come up out of Philadelphia. You're not limited to you know, the 10 block radius that you live in Philadelphia, whether it's North Philly, South Philly, West Philly, Southwest Philly, Uptown. We got great talent here. All of us have a purpose. We all have a calling. Follow your passion, follow your purpose, and soon you'll be doing what you were created to do. And whatever that is, you know, you won't feel like you're working a day in your life. And I want to see all y'all, you know, succeed, live a long, prosperous life, and just help your family, you know, just continue to strive and make it, you know, out of the circumstances that we are in today. So basically, my message is to the youth: don't succumb to the peer pressure, rise above it.
Up to the peer pressure, rise above it.
Yes.
You heard it here first. This has been a Let's Go show with Doug Reed, featuring Sergeant George Morse. And I actually appreciate you coming on, brother. Tell us, you know, I guess through social media, or, you know, might not be a lot because you're in law enforcement, but, you know, how can
Yes.
we maintain contact with you, even with the with the organization that you're affiliated with.
Okay. Y'all can as far as BMR, y'all can the Philly chapter, y'all can follow us on Instagram, BMR_PHL. If you are an avid runner, you got a Facebook account, you can follow it, reach us out on Facebook, Black Men Run Philadelphia. We have the page there. We have to approve you to come onto the page with some questions there for you to answer. As far as on a professional networking platform, you can reach me on LinkedIn, George Morse. That's for all my professionals out there. Let's connect. Let's engage. Let's get some work. Let's do some community initiatives together. Other than that, you can just follow Black Men Run. Check us out on Instagram, the national page, and you can reach us on our website at blackmenrun.com. Thankful to be on the show. Thank you, Doug Reed, for keeping your word and bringing me on, and wish you nothing but success with the Let's Go show.
Yeah. Hey, absolutely. You know what I say? Let's go, baby. Peace.
Let's go. Peace.
I'm out.
All right. God bless.
God bless.